Hello everyone. In today's video we're going to be ranking the Harvest Moon and Story of Seasons games that I personally have played, and I have the list right here in this book, and I feel like it's going to be a little bit controversial. A few of the choices I don't think the general population is going to agree with, but you know what, you guys asked for it, so here it is. We'll be going through the games chronologically, and then I will rank them against each other as we go through them. Okay, so the first game is Harvest Moon for the Super Nintendo. I did play Harvest Moon 64 first, but I did go back once I found out about the series, and I played the Super Nintendo version, and yeah, I was not a fan. I feel like it's missing a lot of quality of life updates, so playing it now, it feels really rough, to me anyway. I appreciate that it started the series, but for me, playing this game is not fun. Like it has a hard cutoff date at the end of 3 years, and so it's not like cozy or anything like that. Of any of the games, it's the one that I want to go back to the least. Next up, we have Harvest Moon on the Game Boy Color, and it's Harvest Moon 1. This game, when I got it, I was a little bit disappointed that there wasn't dating, and there's not even really a town that you can go around in, but the farming aspects of it, they are pretty good, so I'm going to be putting it above the Super Nintendo version. The next game to come out in chronological order was Harvest Moon 64, and this was the first game that I played in the series, and I loved it. I was obsessed with it for a while. I just played it non-stop, and I just wanted to find like every secret in the game, and like it just made me love this series. And so after this game, like all the other games, I would run into them really excited because I wanted them to give me that feeling that Harvest Moon 64 had given me, because it's just so wholesome and there's so many secrets everywhere, and it's just, at the time, for me, it was completely radical to play a game where there's no violence and things like that. Also, I just restarted playing it not so long ago. I was debating about doing a Let's Play. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to do that. But as I was playing it, I was kind of shocked at the fact that it doesn't have a long intro. It's just like, bam, you go into the game, and then the mayor asks you, would you like a tutorial? And then you can say no. Which, thank you for that. Why are there so many modern games that don't have this feature? So Harvest Moon 64, hats off to you. The next one is Harvest Moon Back to Nature. Before Back to Nature came out, I was really looking forward to it, but then when it finally did come out, I was a little bit disappointed because of the load times, and because I had grown so close to the Harvest Moon 64 characters, so then seeing them with mixed up families and stuff like that, I don't know, it was a little bit off-putting to me. I was like, if you want to create new families, why don't you just make it a new game? I know the history. It was originally supposed to be just a, slightly enhanced port, but then they started changing things and, yada, yada, yada. But, yeah, I still prefer 64 to Back to Nature, but it's still better than, it's still an above-average Harvest Moon game, I would say. The next game chronologically was Game Boy Color 3. I really liked this one. It was just an improvement on 1, and you can kind of get married, so it's definitely going to go above Game Boy Color 1 and the Super Nintendo one. The next game is Friends of Mineral Town, and when this game came out, I really, really liked it, because it's kind of like take Back to Nature, take out the load times, add some extra things, and then make the graphics a little bit more cartoony, and then you have this game. And so for me, that's plus, plus, plus. So yeah, this game, really, really good. But it's still, in my mind, not quite as good as Harvest Moon 64, so I'm going to put it in second place for now. The next game is A Wonderful Life. And if you've seen some of my videos, then you might already know what I'm going to say about this game. I was super excited to play it because I loved some of the ideas behind it. But then when I started playing it, I felt like it was lacking a few quality of life features. And so I was really disappointed when I played this game. I love the ideas behind it, like really 100% love them. But then the game, it just constantly does things that annoy me, which is why I'm so excited that it's getting a remake, because I feel like of all the games in this whole series, this is the one that needs a remake the most, because it had great ideas, but the execution was a little bit rough, a little bit rocky. So I'm going to be putting it in the middle, above the Game Boy Color games and above Super Nintendo, but not better than Back to Nature. The next game is Magical Melody, and this game I actually went in it slightly apprehensive, because I didn't want to get too excited about it because I was so disappointed by A Wonderful Life. But then once I finally got the game, I just fell in love with it. Absolutely loved it. I love a lot of the ideas behind it. You can choose where you want to start your farm, and then you can slowly expand your farm. And there's a whole bunch of different choices in the game. There's a whole bunch of different marriage candidates. It was the first one that let you choose whether you want to be a boy or a girl, and then you can marry, a wide range of bachelors and bachelorettes. So this game, I'm going to put it number 2 for now. Still just a little bit not as good as Harvest Moon 64, because Harvest Moon 64, it was just no load times, and the gameplay was just really tight. Whereas with Magical Melody, I don't know, there's a few gameplay things that I personally would have changed. Next is one that I'm also a bit apprehensive about saying. Harvest Moon DS. I feel like this is kind of a divisive title in the series. Yeah, and I'm on the I don't like it so much side. I actually just recently whipped out my DS and played it for a little bit so I could see okay, were my memories correct? And I have to say yes. They rehashed all the characters from the old games, so at the time that really mattered to me because I wanted some new characters. But this game, they're reusing a lot of the same characters from the previous games. And then just the tone of the game, I'm not a fan of it. Some of the characters, their dialogue, I don't know, it just rubs me the wrong way. And then the gameplay, I didn't really feel like it did anything, that different from Friends of Mineral Town. Yeah, so for me, I'm going to have to put this just below A Wonderful Life, because at least A Wonderful Life, it tried to do new things, whereas with Harvest Moon DS, I feel like the series, desperately needed, a reboot, they needed to try something different. Here's where there's a huge gap in the series where I didn't play a bunch of the games. You guys know I just bought A New Beginning, and I've just started it, but the beginning of it, not gonna lie, it kind of turned me off. So I was okay, after I play some other games, I'll try to come back to it. But the opening scene is really long and drawn out. So yeah, I decided to put it down, and I'll come back to it later. And then Animal Parade, I'm also going to be playing it, but I haven't really gotten a chance to fully play that game either. The next game is Story of Seasons, Friends of Mineral Town, and Friends of Mineral Town, the remake, for me, it's definitely in the middle. It did some things that I liked and some things that I didn't really like. And then in terms of it being a remake, yeah, I'm going to have to put it right in the middle, just above A Wonderful Life. And then last, Olive Town. I had a lot of fun with Olive Town. I know there's problems with Olive Town, but to me, there's certain parts of it that are so fun that it makes up for it. So people watched my review and they're you say so many bad things about it, but then you still give it a 9 out of 10. Because for me, it's I want to give the game the score of what, the gameplay value that I get out of a game. Because to me, that's the most important thing at the end of the day. How much time am I going to spend playing this game? And I spent a lot of time in Olive Town, and I feel like there's a lot of fun things to discover in it. And yeah, so while there are a few things that if I was in charge of the game, I would change them. But at the end of the day, I still feel like it's a really fun game. Yeah, you guys might be a little bit surprised about this, but I'm going to put it at number 4. So my top 3 are Harvest Moon 64, Magical Melody, and Friends of Mineral Town. I'm really curious to see what you guys would have as your top 3. I'm also curious what you think of this list. Are there any that you strongly agree with, or are there any that you strongly disagree with? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys next time.